so fucking cold. Have some smoked beef. Pastrami smoked beef. Got my bread. Got a little stick here, my matches, and some marshmallows. Let's get it. It's been so long, I haven't been camping. Oh, this thing right here, this little stove, it's portable. It's like, you can literally fold it very flat and just shove it in your bag with the rest of your books. It's so windy right now. So good. It's actually a stove, guys. Of course. A portable stove that can be folded flatter than a book, than a notebook. Some marshmallows. I'm like, why not? These past few days have been rough. As a vagrant, it has been rough. Move this aside. I hope it won't burn the table. I should have added some foil paper, or aluminum paper right underneath. But who knows? It should be fine because it's set like an inch above the table. Obviously, I'm not used to camping, but hey, might as well give it a shot. It's so cold. Ooh. It's so fucking cold. Holy shit. And I'm living up north. Good riddance. Fucking good riddance. It's fine. There's a bit of marshmallows on it, but it's fine. It's fine. There's no issue there. There's no issue there. Yep. So like I said, this is called smoked beef pastrami. I've never tried pastrami beef before. I've only tried roast beef on its own, but I was never a fan because maybe, I don't know, whoever did the sandwich wasn't that good. I'm ready to eat my sandwich because your girl is hungry and has been or have been tempting to do this for a good 48 hours. Oh my god. Your girl is crazy. I wonder how long it lasts, the fire. It doesn't say in here. But it's fine. As long as there's fire, I'm Gucci. Gucci with the flip-flops. I'm like, yes, burn it, burn it. Not burn, but like cook it even more. I know it's smoked meat, but I love my meat well done. Oh my gosh. Whew, it is cold up in here. What time is it? 7:19. No, 7:18. Oh Lord, what a struggle. Can't wait to get my pay in a week from now. Whew. Better not be snowing because your girl is on her own. I actually got some mayonnaise as well, so let me take that out. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is put it flat on this bread right here. It's fine, there's no issue. And add some mayonnaise. Yeah, it would be better if I just put it flat like so. And add another piece of bread over it. You know, it's still kind of cold. There you go. So fucking cold. So chilly outside. I remember the first time or the first year I was here in Alberta, it started snowing on the 1st of October. And now today is what, the 19th of September? Yo, winter is just around the corner up north. And I'm here as a vagrant looking forward to camp. Only if certain things would have went my way. fire isn't touching the table. Yes, sir. I can admit I wasn't too aware of what I was doing, but the fire's just like, I'd say maybe a good half an inch above the table. Whew. OMG. It's been a while. It's been years, over a decade I haven't been camping. Or has it been a decade that I haven't been camping? Because I think a decade ago, I was like, what, 15? I was still basically eligible to be in summer camp. To be going to summer camp, sorry. Got more mayonnaise, of course. Come on. See, it's starting to burn. There you go. Whew. Lord God, help me. I'm so cold. Damn. Like, what is your girl going to do with $500 as a vagrant? Wow, things are so expensive. Well, low-key, I've been, paying for stuff for like 25 cents, at least 25 cents, up to $1. Like those yup, it's called a yup, or yogurt for $1. Bananas, at least 25 cents. What else? Peaches for 68 cents to $1.25. Kiwis kiwis are how much? No, I think kiwis are for 60 cents and peaches are for $1. But yeah, I've been consuming cheap, very, very cheap things, like below $1 or exactly $1. But the reason why I've been asking, like, what will I do with just, $500 is because, like your girl can't be paying $500 for rent and doesn't have a job. So let me just give you a little breakdown. So there's like a lot of suspicious activity going on as usual. Something that can be explained, but it's just that I have a lack of evidence to actually step up and kind of, back myself up. So it kind of sounds as if I'm being delusional, which I'm not. And so the thing is that it doesn't come as a surprise, but like every time, or this is the second time or third time that I'm a vagrant. And so, like the first time I was a vagrant for a good week and then I found my first apartment. The second time, it was that I had an eviction due to the fact that there was like some weird situation going on with my payment, And so I quit one of my jobs in order to stay in security. And the next thing you know, they revoked the contract, the 5-year contract that I had, because supposedly the same situation regarding my payment, saying that if I were to come in 5 minutes late, they're going to remove like an hour. If I come like 15 minutes late, they'll remove like 3 hours, which is bullshit, because that's something that no one should go through, especially during inflation crisis. And yeah, and so this time is that I would get hired, and they sound like very interested in like my experience and so on, and so I would just get hired on the spot. And I did set it in my previous video saying that I got hired on the spot for Garda World, because I showed them my Quebec license. My Quebec license that's still valid for the next 3 years, I think, and my certification and my CPR certification as well through security. And so I kind of like explained everything very fluently by answering the questions and blah blah blah. So I got hired on the spot, and the day of I was supposed to receive my schedule and to know like when would be the best time for me to start training, because my schedule would have been very flexible due to those who have seniority, so those who have priority before me. Yeah, so what I did is that I decided to call in and blah blah blah, and then the receptionist was giving me trouble, and she was basically telling me to get off the property and that I'm not allowed to talk to her coworkers. I'm like, how is that, she have authority or that kind of authority against her coworkers who are in different positions than her? I mean, she's just a receptionist, you know what I mean? And I picked out 2 cards. So a card regarding of the Edmonton scheduler, so the person who's supposed to do this whole scheduling and predict like when would be the best time to do my training and so on. So I picked that card, that business card. And the second business card was the general manager. So for the receptionist to tell me that, I'm not supposed to be talking to her coworkers and that it's for the protection. I'm like, protection? Like, what am I doing to kind of, offend people or anyone in general? So I was telling her to go about her day and that there's no offense going on. Everyone is protected in their own corner, blah, blah, blah. I'm just basically trying to give those who are superior than her to find out like what my schedule is like and so on. It's just a way to kind of cooperate and try to get in business, get busy with life, and try to build up my finance and so on, and get out of this pit as a vagrant and blah blah blah. And she was basically trying to like talk me out and say to get off the property and blah blah blah. And then later on, hours later, I got a message by my recruiter. I don't know, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he basically mentioned in such a professional and fluent way that according to what has went down verbally between me and the receptionist, he revoked my hiring at the last minute. So that being said, I did not have the chance to actually participate as a security guard by the airport and under Garda World, right? I was so close, but yet he revoked it. And so I was like, I explained my part, but I never had an answer, and it's been a week now that, or maybe 2 weeks, I don't know. Time is flying by, and that's the same for Plaid Security. But they also wanted me to work by the airport as a pre-border screen officer. And so basically is that whenever you go on vacation, you have to go through the security in order for them to scan your bags. And the way they scan their bags, there's like this kind of x-ray where they're able to see through what's in your bag and if there's any weapons or whatsoever or drugs, you know what I mean? And so basically I did the exam. I thought I did good, but however I didn't have enough time to complete each level. And so each level had a number of questions, and each level I just didn't have enough time. And so yeah, they didn't accept me from there. And so yeah, so basically I lost my opportunity for Gardo World. I was so close to getting it. I did got hired on the spot, but it was revoked. And then I lost my opportunity for Pladine security, which is still which is in the airport as well as a pre-border officer, blah blah blah. And then just recently, like right after I got those two notice of me of the resignation, well, not necessarily resignation, but the retraction of my hiring and the rejection of the to proceed through the Pladanine security guard, right? I got hired as a housekeeper because I had experience as a housekeeper through a residential retirement facility and by hotels. So I got hired immediately on the spot and I started the next day. I worked for 5 days consecutively, non-stop. Yeah, 3 days on training and 2 days just on my own with like all the equipments and so on. I believe that there's just a bit too much equipment for me to kind of cope with and to move around from room to room. But it's heavy duty, right? Like housekeeping in general is heavy duty. So I just took it as it is and I just kind of went with the flow and try to work with what I have. And then the day of, Lord God. So the day of, hold on, let me just add on to this fire here because your girl don't want to come out like Frozen, that Frozen princess. How do you call it? What's her name? Frozen. I think that's her name. Frozen. Yeah. So So where was I? Can't remember where I was. Yeah, so by the housekeeping, right? I've worked for five days consecutively, and then on the sixth day, right? 6 days. It was supposed to be my day off, and then out of nowhere I received a message or an email from the housekeeping manager saying that I've been terminated. And I was honest. I told her during the interview that I was a vagrant and so on. And I just told her I wasn't too precise because I'm a vagrant, right? So I have to kind of keep certain things confidential and just kind of work with what I have. And from there, eventually, I just tried to get off the streets or just get off the park or camping ground, whatever. So, So I worked with what I have. She was very, very sweet and very precise in the whole benefits offered, or like she made it made sense. And so I was like very like ambitious. I was very ambitious and ready to kind of thrive and do good for the company and kind of build myself from there as a housekeeper through that hotel. I was very disappointed just as much as she was disappointed, and she basically said to not apply into this whole termination, as in, to talk with the candidates or so on to try to figure out what is what and blah blah blah. And we did sat down when I was escorted in and escorted out. We did sat down while I was preparing myself to get out. And so we basically talked about more like, being on the streets, or like just being out so freely, so exposed to the world. And as a vagrant, she said that it's dangerous. And I said, yeah, I know, I'm by the shelter, da da da. And then I told her that, the shelter is not always available. It's a shelter for like an emergency and yada yada yada. And that goes for, what do you call it, for women's shelter as well. It's not always, there's not always room that's available. And that being said, if there's no room available, you have to try to find your way, to a different shelter, or you just have to be like on the streets, right? Like that happens as a homeless person. And so yeah. And so basically, we had like a little chat about it and whatever, and I sent her an email. I'm gonna show it to you like right here, right? I'm gonna show it to you right there. And I don't know, like the chat that I had with her, and the way how she was like not aware, but worried, like slightly worried, but she stayed professional and she tried to find ways and say that, you're just not too good, like you said you were, and blah, blah, blah. But I said that, like the whole design of the hotel is very different from other hotels that I've trained at. And guys, I just worked for 5 days. Like I was on training for 3 days, and then I was on my own for the 2 last days before my day off. And then the day when I had my day off, that's when she said, you're terminated, you're not as good as I thought you were, blah blah blah. So I kind of doubt that what she said was actually true. I believe that she was bluffing, you know what I mean? But I just had a feeling that there was like a backstory to what she was telling me. So that's like one of the reasons why I sent her this email right there. And so basically I was trying to see if she knew, like if she had like a counselor or a general manager for me to talk to. And I mentioned regards to subsidized housing, something that I've never ever heard before. Like if I knew about subsidized housing, I would have got on that like ASAP, like long time ago, years ago. But either way, I was able to manage to have 3 different apartments, not at the same time, but like one after the other after a certain period of time. That's what it is. She sent me a message saying that like I kind of respected her approach, and I didn't want to like trigger no one or try to escalate the situation from there. So I just kept it a buck. And so basically she told me that she was kind of worried, or she's just like pointing out her awareness regarding like someone as a vagrant and being on the street, especially as a female, and so on and blah blah blah. And then she finishes off by, oh, I don't believe that you're that skilled and yada yada yada. But that kind of compliment to fire me, to terminate my contract after 5 days of training. I just I didn't believe that it's regarding my skills or whatsoever. I believe that I'm really good at housekeeping, but there's just something happening in my surroundings or my circumstance that I'm not aware about, and that's jeopardizing my reputation and might be putting me at risk to even handle the housekeeping or to even handle the whole heavy duty and so on, because sometimes I've been walking around and my foot feels so sore. I don't know why, but it feels so sore. And my shoulder, the first time I came to sleep here by the park, my shoulder felt dislocated, but it felt as if it dislocated itself during the night, and then I just woke up and feel crack in my bone that shouldn't be there. I don't know, but it felt very unusual, and the pain wasn't as painful, but it was there. And my right shoulder now is starting to irritate me whenever I have my bag on my back. It's like it feels like the bag is sinking in my shoulder, and it feels like just in general, that my shoulder is not able to take any weight, like my right shoulder. So like I'm just walking around and always adjusting the strap on my bike. Like I know the whole feeling or sensation after my shoulder has been dislocated, because my shoulder had been dislocated multiple times, and it was like a frequent dislocation. And so like after or during the dislocation, it's very bad. Like I would just kind of like throw out a cry just right after the whole dislocation, when I fixed my posture, right? There's just this there's this stinging sensation in my bone, or where my two bones, like where my shoulder and my arm is like connected, like whenever it rubs together, like there's just this stinging sensation, and it's painful. Not as painful, but it's painful. Like yeah, that's what it is. I filmed a few things from left, right, and center regarding my surrounding, or what can be, or this is my condition as a vagrant, and blah blah blah. So for me to just randomly have my position retracted from Garda World, and then to get fired immediately right after, just the day of my day off, I thought it was just unusual. Like it just kind of puts you in doubt. Like, yo, are you sure? Like, are you sure you're firing me based on like the way I clean? Because while I was on training, like no one did tell me that I have to improve in this area, or have to do this in this area, and so on. Like the person is there to train you for a reason, and to tell you how to improve and how to make certain things in a more professional or presentable way. Yeah, that's about it, guys. Good morning. Okay, so right now I'm just heading to Dairy Queen, but I'm not going outside. I'm not going outside. I'm not going inside. It's currently closed. But however, I went in yesterday just to use the bathroom, and it wasn't even the manager who mentioned it. It was like some minor who said that, oh, she's banned from coming into Dairy Queen. I'm like, what? I'm banned from coming into Dairy Queen? And like, how is that even possible? So hopefully I still have the clip of me filming them saying that they are attempting to call the police just because I haven't bought anything by the store, or yeah. So I just want to add on to the previous video. So basically, like, I just walked in, right? I just walked inside the store. Like, Dairy Queen is really not so far from where I was just before. But yeah, so basically I just walked in. I was ready to like to charge my phone, because my phone is like at 17 or 12%. But normally, like, the rule in every restaurant is that you buy something, yeah, but in general, okay, you can stay in the restaurant for, I'd say, at most 30 minutes. Like 30 minutes to an hour, depending on like what you buy. The way how they handle it, it was very inappropriate. It wasn't according to the policy. And so basically, I even inserted that clip into my previous video saying that how I just walked in order to charge my phone, but they immediately stopped me and say that I would have to buy something in order to stay in the restaurant. But it's not really like that how it works. Kind of, but not really. So basically, I said what I said in my previous clip. So normally you would have to buy something, but in general you have the allowance to stay by a restaurant for at most 30 minutes. No, I'll say like at least 30 minutes to up to an hour. So I'd say minimum 30 minutes, maximum 1 hour, depending on what you buy and who you're with. And so, yeah. So no one was being harmed. I didn't harm myself. I didn't put up a fight with anyone else. I was just trying to like figure out what is what, because I didn't necessarily understand why they were willing to kick me out so fast, knowing for a fact that I was just a regular guest there, who would just like sit down and study. And yeah, so basically you would see me in my previous clip like studying, and there's like a whole bunch of glass windows around. That's a Dairy Queen. And so yeah, but I knew that I was staying for over like 4 hours, and so like up to like 5 to 6 hours just studying and, you know, trying to build myself up, like self-development, or trying to look for jobs and so on. So yeah, like as a vagrant, like where else am I gonna go? Like just walk around and enjoy the sunshine and get burned? Yeah, so yeah, and the thing is, the weird thing is that each person who's basically trying to prevent me from doing something, they're all redheaded females. And some of them, okay, it's like, yes, they're redheaded, but you can tell that they're not redheaded. It's as if they bleached their hair in order for it to be red. And so yes, back what I said yesterday by the park regarding to this receptionist at Garda World, she's actually a redhead. And for some reason I thought it was just very, very weird and unusual from her to make that kind of approach in order for me to just get off the property for no reason. Like, what did I do? Like, all I did is just signed in and was expecting the recruiter to kind of proceed with the discussion that we had the day before. And obviously she wasn't aware of that. She's just a receptionist, so whatever was spoken between me and the recruiter is just between me and the recruiter. And so basically she was just, I don't know, like her approach just came as if she was trying to get like a lot of authority against whomever to come after me, if that makes sense. Like I said, like she was just a receptionist, and she was trying to prevent me from talking to the general manager and the Edmonton scheduler, who are actually above her position. So I thought it was very weird from her and very unusual, like. And on top of that, when I did get hired as a housekeeper by one of the hotels, I won't mention its name, but just one of the hotels. So I immediately um, attracted the manager, the housekeeping manager. And so basically there was one night I called in, and so the guy was able to send my resume directly to the housekeeper. And so I thought that was cool, that was nice. And I immediately got a phone call the next day from the housekeeping manager saying that she's willing to have an interview with me, and that I have to try to give her a call back on the extension, so on and so on. There was one day I decided to show up by the hotel, and so I just questioned to make sure if it was the right hotel, right? Because I've came across a lot of similar branch that's similar branch, like different hotels that's under the same branch. So I was just making sure if it was the right hotel, because what a coincidence, it was just there, like right there, like 5 minutes away from where I've been wandering around the whole time. And the receptionist, the front desk, right, she's also a redhead, and she's like, oh, she's not hiring. I'm like, what do you mean the manager is not hiring? She just gave me a call saying that she's willing to get an interview with me. And she's like, no, I can't remember exactly what she said, but like it's like she was trying to prevent me from getting access to the housekeeping manager. And so like everything that I said from the agreement of the housekeeping manager went against whatever the front desk was saying. Like it's like the whole time she was just trying to prevent me from getting access to the housekeeping manager. And I'm like, man, this girl, she's tense. Like why in the hell is she like trying to prevent me from getting access, or even from getting hired, knowing for a fact that she doesn't have the right to actually do that, because she's not authorized to actually do that. She's just a front desk employee. She's not like a manager or whatsoever. So she's also a redhead. So and the person who abandoned me, I did not film her, but I just wanted to like film the conversation and filmed just to get proof that I was actually there in the restaurant, that it's proof that I was there in Dairy Queen. And the manager was also a redhead, and each time when I would walk around or wander around or sit around, there's always these redheads just glancing at me or giving me some kind of attitude. I'm like, what is up with these redheaded females? I'm like, what the hell is wrong with them? I'm like, I'm just here minding my own business. I'm like, hey, like I have actually a good acquaintance, and she's also redhead herself. We used to be best friends. We're kind of like sisters in a way. I won't call out her name, but she's actually half Jamaican, half Quebecer. Her mother is blonde, like straight blonde, and her father is Jamaican. And so how we became friends, well, basically, it's very personal, which is why I said I wouldn't necessarily want to call her out or give her a shout out. But like, she was like on heavy meds for her anxieties, and on top of that, she was suicidal. She was suicidal at the time as well. So like, as a good friend or like an acquaintance at the time, I was always there for her, supporting her and encouraging her to move forward. But eventually she changed school, but either way, throughout the process, we became best friends. And we did so many things together. She met my family and so on, yada yada yada. But she is a redhead, and there isn't no issue here. But like here in Alberta, in the area code that I'm at, like for some reason there's some kind of like sneaky or like some secrecy going on, and people are like grouping up trying to plan whatever the I don't know. But every person or every opportunity that was revoked, it was because of a redheaded. Because of a redheaded. Period. Anyways, my phone is just about to die. I think I might have like 1% or 5%. But like, let's just hope that what time is it? It's 8:12. Let's hope that the mall right next to me is open. That way I can just walk in and do whatever I gotta do instead of doing it here. But yeah, I was planning to eat some goodies, but I might as well film myself back there while I'm charging my phone. So peace. Tim I'm almost finished my food. And so, yeah, I wasn't able to film that part anyways of me munching my munchies. Munching on my munchies. But, yeah, as I was trying to say before, just previously, like, each opportunity that I missed was because of a redheaded. Especially first, it all started with this this time that I went by the emergency for something unusual, right? Something very unusual because, like I said what I said in my previous video as well. That's something that aligns with my previous video. So that like I'm single, I'm not sexually active or whatsoever. So yeah, so when I first went by the emergency, or the last time I went by the emergency room in my hometown in Alberta, right? The person who assisted me, which was a nurse, she was also like a pure redhead. And so, like, I completely doubt that, you know, she might have bleached her hair, or she was like a brunette or like a blonde, I don't know. But like, her hair is very like silky, very nice, trimmed down, like everything is top notch, right? And like her appearance, okay, she looks very solid, very put together. I don't know, like I would see her like in the military or something like that, I don't know. But like yeah, her approach sounded a bit rough a little bit. I mean, she was doing her thing correctly, but it sounded a bit off. Because I had exactly like maybe about nearly 5% of battery on my phone. And so I was trying to like beat time, but at the same time I was trying to prevent the whole idea of my phone just about to die while I was in emergency. And so I was just like scrambling through or scanning through my phone and looking at random videos and whatever. Like if you would check my phone, it's like a ghost town. Like I barely talk to anyone in my phone, unless if it's like family or like a close friend for reference reasons, to get like certain things, reference reasons. And so yeah, and so like I went there to get a blood test and you know all of that stuff by the emergency, of course. And so the girl case, like she was asking questions, like direct questions. They're indirect, yeah. No, I wouldn't say they're indirect. Okay, so they're direct questions. They're direct questions that put me in doubt, as if like, okay, so how did she know? Like, she's like, she offered me like a charger. She's like, oh, are you sure that your phone is not about to die like right now? I'm like, no. Cause like I used to like study in cybersecurity and stuff like that. Like, you know, it's actually It's actually a fault thing to actually share like chargers, like exchange chargers with someone else in order to charge your phone and so on. Because chargers adapters can be encrypted as well. So like her approach kind of sound like, oh, she have that authority in her, right? So I said no, like no is no. I don't want to have your charger. I don't live that far away anyways from the hospital. So yeah, so I basically said no from there. And then okay, she asked me, oh, I just need to ask you this question. Is this something that is very common and asked to everyone frequently? I'm like, right, okay, so what's the question? And she's like, oh, are you like interfered in like domestic violence? And then I just kind of like glanced at her sideways and I'm like, no. Like I sounded sarcastic or like insincere, but I was, because I had my mask on and I glanced at her sideways. I'm like, no, like why are you asking me that question if I came here for a reason due to my health, like, you know what I mean? And then she, I don't know, she was just doing her thing and taking tests and so on. And I think it's called, I can't remember what it's called, but anyways, I'm not a healthcare worker anymore. But yeah, so during that time was very off, like, but like she was also a redhead herself. And so okay, so one of the reasons why I felt like things were a bit odd, because like her approach came as if like she had that kind of authority and she was trying to get something from me, or try to, I don't know, she was just trying to get something from me. But at the same time, I like in my mind I'm like, okay, this isn't the best spot to try to reach out to me. So I thought that something was very suspicious from that girl, because I'm like, okay, like I'm in the emergency, like why you try to put me on the spot, like, you know what I mean? And so like yeah, like I just sensed something very suspicious during that time, but like I didn't have any proof or whatsoever. But like when I came there for a medical checkup, right, the same day, like whatever reason I went there for was already solved. Like there wasn't any order, there wasn't any irritation or whatsoever. Everything was solved right there and then, and I haven't taken anything. Right? Like I know I fell asleep or I felt unconscious, who knows, by the hospital for a good, like, it felt like a minute, but yeah, like everything was already solved there and then, and so it kind of like complicated things regard to the offering that they suggested in order for me to take for any like further like malfunction or whatever. I'll say malfunction, but yeah, like she was also a redhead. The girl by the hotel as a front desk, she was also a redhead. The girl who tried to kick me out from the Garda World territory, she was also a redhead. So that's 3 right there. And the girl, well, she was just a minor, but she was following with what the manager might have convinced them. She was also a redhead. That's 4 redheads right there. Each and one of them, they're all females. All females. And so like for me to like glance at them, I'm like, girls, are you guys okay or something? Like, is there something that I'm missing? I'm like, is there something that I'm missing? Because I might be missing a lot. But yeah, so that's what it is, man. I just believe that people, they just come across as I wouldn't necessarily say racist. If that was the case, I'm sure they might pop up and say, look at my black friend, and but they come out more as they're trying to defend somebody, so they're trying to like jeopardize or minimize my opportunity in order to kind of like uplift someone else. I don't know, but that's the kind of approach that's giving. And so yeah, that's just about it, like, to be honest. I'm just a vagrant in my own world and minding my own business, doing what I've got to do in order to no longer be a vagrant. But yeah, this is gonna be a long journey for sure. But I'm trying to kind of accelerate and trying to get things done before winter, because the first year that I've ever came to Alberta, which was I'd say back in 2017, the 1st of October was the day that it started snowing. Was the day that it started snowing. And I'm just like, yo, today is like, what day is it today? Today is like the 20th or the 19th of September. And it's like it's not even in the minus yet, but it's like 6 degrees, but it feels like minus 2 degrees. But who knows, because the first time that I was a vagrant, and like weird things were happening to the point where, like, after my 9 months was up as a vagrant, 9 months as a vagrant, right? And it was like nearly winter and only minus 4 degrees. I nearly got frostbites. Minus 4 degrees. Like, people can die at minus 10 degrees. Minus 10. So if a person say that, oh, it's like minus 30 degrees, that's when you're gonna die and get frostbites and blah, blah, blah. But like, it's really like at minus 10, between minus 5 to minus 10 degrees, where your body can't cope, because your body is like so used to being in an environment at room temperature. And room temperature is like what, 24.6 degrees. So imagine at minus 5 degrees and your body has to adapt to that temperature. You're done. You have to be well equipped to survive at minus 5 degrees. Just minus 5 degrees. But yeah. My piece right here. And yes, I'm by Tim Hortons. Cheers.